Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a really profound question. What's next? We're going to start by briefly unpacking the core essay, Imagining the Future, by Dr. Susan Edwards, which explores how humanity has historically envisioned tomorrow. From there, we'll pivot to focus deeply on Theme 5, taking a hard look at the ethical and data-driven horizon of our increasingly digital world. We'll be breaking down all these massive historical, social, and technological concepts into clear, easy-to-digest takeaways. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right in. Forecasting the future isn't just some modern obsession. It's actually a core, timeless human trait. We are constantly trying to see what's over the horizon, reflecting on our present reality to project a vision of tomorrow. And understanding how we've predicted the future in the past, well, that gives us the ultimate lens to understand how we're shaping it today.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with imagining tomorrow's world, move into the future of teaming, and then look at conviction versus culture. After that, we'll pivot to our main focus, the data-driven horizon, and wrap up with the boundaries of the future.
Section 1. Imagining Tomorrow's World. Historical Predictions of the Future. Now, before we can talk about artificial intelligence or digital consciousness, we have to recognize that science has long attempted to predict what's next. It's all about taking the data we have and making an educated leap. Take Nikola Tesla's brilliant foresight, for example. Back in 1898, the guy essentially predicted the smartphone. He imagined devices small enough to fit in pockets that could transmit wireless signals globally. He even built a remote-controlled boat. But, on the flip side, his social predictions completely missed the mark. He actually believed that systematic reforestation and scientific management would magically end all wars, and that women would become the dominant gender. So he fundamentally understood technology, but as the poet T.S. Eliot might say, he kind of missed the meaning of human nature. On the other hand, we have Dmitri Mendeleev. When he created the periodic table, he didn't just organize what was already known. He built a structured framework for the unknown. He literally left blank gaps in his chart. Because of that structure, he accurately predicted the existence and even the properties of elements that wouldn't be discovered for years, like gallium and germanium. It brilliantly proves that when imagination is anchored in structured, rigorous science, we really can predict what's coming next.
Section 2, the future of teaming, how we collaborate on the fly.
So that historical context brings us perfectly to our present day. We've shifted from the era of the lone genius making predictions in a lab to a highly interconnected world. Harvard University professor Amy Edmondson argues that the absolute future of work isn't about static, rigid departments. It's about dynamic, incredibly agile collaboration. Tomorrow's complexities just can't be solved by static groups. Instead, it requires something she calls teaming. It's a fluid way of working where you collaborate and coordinate on the fly across geographic boundaries, blending completely different cultural backgrounds and expertise to solve an immediate problem and then move right on to the next one. If you want to visualize what teaming looks like in reality, look at hospitals and Disney animation studios. Let's focus on the hospital model for a second. A hospital operates 24 hours a day. A single patient might be seen by up to 60 different experts in one day: nurses, specialists, technicians, you name it. Many of these people are on entirely different shifts and might not even know each other's names. Yet they have to seamlessly coordinate on the fly to provide life-saving care. That high-stakes, fluid collaboration, that is the blueprint for how humanity will manage the future. Section 3. Conviction versus culture. Navigating crises of conscience. But the future isn't just about how we work, right? It's about who we are. As we push forward, individuals constantly face a clash between the rules society expects them to follow and what their own internal moral compass dictates. This tension is perfectly captured by Polonius in Shakespeare's Hamlet, advising his son to be true to himself. This idea is a massive pillar of Western literature and thought. We heavily champion following your own heart, often positioning the individual's conscience as superior to cultural norms. But actually living that out, especially when cultural expectations are heavy, is incredibly difficult.
A perfect illustration of this tension is Mark Twain's character, Huckleberry Finn. Huck was raised in a deeply flawed society that told him slavery was natural and right, and that helping a runaway slave would quite literally damn his soul to hell. He faces the ultimate crisis of conscience: obey the law or save his friend Jim. When he tears up the letter to turn Jim in, it's this monumental moment where individual conscience successfully overrode a horrific cultural expectation, even though Huck genuinely thought he was damning himself by doing it.
And of course, this isn't just fiction. We see it in real life all the time.
Think about people like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, the Dalai Lama, or Hua Milan, Joan of Arc, Aung San Suu Kyi, Malala Yousafzai, Masa Amini. This incredibly diverse list of historical figures spans eras, geographies, and cultures. But what unites them is that they all paid a massive price, sometimes the ultimate price, to follow their moral compass over what their society demanded of them. They fundamentally shaped the future by refusing to accept the present culture.
But what drives that level of conviction? Well, it often stems from how we view our very existence. Take this quote from the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is the oldest known piece of literature. It's a profound expression of grief and existential dread. Humans have always questioned the meaning of our fleeting lives. And it's precisely that questioning, our search for meaning beyond just the physical, that profoundly shapes our willingness to stand up for our convictions and endure sacrifices. Section 4. The Data-Driven Horizon. The Evolution of Extending Our Senses. This brings us right into the core of Theme 5. As we dive deep into the Theme 5 focus, we start to see a really rapid evolution. We're transitioning from ancient literary wisdom to the fast-approaching digital future. You see, the entire trajectory of human progress is a forever quest to extend our physical limitations. We start with our feeble senses, and we innovate. A simple stick becomes a lever, a log becomes a wheel. Eventually, we combine these into motors and rockets. But then we reach phase 4. Our tools are no longer just physical, they are informational. We now rely on massive data collection and fine instrumentation to see further, analyze deeper, and make big decisions. And this brilliantly illustrates the immense tension we are currently facing. On one side, you have the profound qualitative moral wisdom of someone like Oskar Schindler, a man who saved countless lives during the Holocaust. On the other side, you have the futuristic, quantitative power of an AI dashboard analyzing billions of data points in seconds. The future requires us to balance both. So the real question is, how do we ensure that the staggering power of data and artificial intelligence is still fundamentally guided by that irreplaceable humanistic moral compass? Section 5. Boundaries of the Future. Ethics in a Digital World. As we rapidly approach tomorrow, we have to start asking some incredibly tough ethical questions. Researchers at Elon University are currently exploring exactly what our lives will look like in 2035 and 2040. And honestly, the possibilities are mind-bending. We aren't just talking about smarter phones here. We're talking about artificially intelligent cyborg supplements wired to the human brain. We are talking about the potential to literally download, upload, delete, or even remix an individual's consciousness. Take a second to process that. The future forces us to ask, if we can digitize a mind, does that fundamentally alter what it means to be human? Throughout history, humanity has been driven by a relentless instinct to push boundaries. When the legendary mountaineer Sir Edmund Hillary was asked why he wanted to climb Mount Everest, his response was simply, because it is there. We possess this deeply ingrained drive to conquer the unknown simply because we have the capability to do so. We build the technology, basically, because we can. But that leaves us with a critical final thought to end today's explainer. If the horizon of our potential, if our data, our AI, our biotechnology involves fundamentally altering the very definition of what it means to be human, are there mountains that should remain unclimbed? Should we do something just because we can? I want to leave you with that provocative thought. Thank you so much for exploring these massive concepts with me today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and as always, keep looking toward the future.